Yeah, we back with another interesting video. Now today is going to be a follow-up video to one I dropped last week entitled, take a look up on the screen, The American Invasion of Haiti, the Untold Story from 1915. And in that video, I briefly mentioned a gentleman by the name of General Charlemagne Peralte, who led a 2-year rebellion against the US Marines. And in this video, we're going to go in greater detail about his life. Now before we get started, take a look up on the screen. You see them goofy ass white boys from Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana moving around with their guns in hand looking for black men to go assassinate. And look at that goofy ass black man on the bottom right hand corner leading the enemy into our territory. And that's just something that we're always going to have to contend with. It's always going to be some collaborator up in the mix trying to sabotage everything that we're trying to establish. Now, before we jump into the life story of General Charlemagne Peralte, we have to understand, who are the Cacos? Who are the Cacos? Take a look up on the screen. The Cacos were bodies of armed men originally drawn from the country's enslaved population who came to wield power in the mountainous regions of Haiti following the victory of the Haitian Revolution in 1804. The nickname Cacos was derived from local terms for the red-plumed Hispaniolan trogon because the insurgents used to hide like the bird of the same name under the leaves so as to come unexpectedly upon and attack their enemy. During the occupation era, Dr. Rosalvo Bobo was an early leader of the Cacos faction. He led opposition to the US's initial entry into Haiti, but was prevented from ever becoming president when Philippe Sédar-Senghor was effectively appointed as a puppet head of state under the US occupation. Charlemagne Peralte emerged as one of the most prominent Cacos leaders from his escape from captivity until his death at the hand of US Marines on the 1st of November 1919. Benoit Betraville, a lieutenant of Peralte, took over as commander of the Cacos in December 1919. He too was killed by the US Marines on the 20th of May 1920. Now, from the video last week, we already discussed Dr. Rosalvo Bobo, legend, big nationalist, big chief, big gangster, big general. And during the 1915 presidential elections, the US government had supported the opposition, Philippe Sédar-Senghor, and appointed him as the puppet head of state of the country, and he carried out many policies that were to the benefit of the US government. Now, let's get into it. When you get done watching this video, if you haven't already, go check out the video I dropped last week, The American Invasion of Haiti, the Untold Story. Legendary video, classic material. And before we jump into the life story of General Charlemagne Peralte, let's take a look at some of these legendary pictures from back in the early 1900s. Take a look up on the screen. You see this brother right here at the bottom. It says, the Caco in the foreground killed an American Marine. And unfortunately for the brother, I'm assuming they probably killed him right after this photo was taken. Rest in peace to the fallen ancestor. Take a look up on the screen. You see a black woman right here with her weapon in hand. At the bottom it says, a Caco's wife. Man, listen, let a white boy run up on her the wrong way. Guarantee she gonna shoot him in the face. And it goes back to what I said about people being a product of their environment. Y'all boys in the modern day complaining about the current state of our women. Well, guess what? Our forefathers did not have these problems. Our grandfathers did not have these problems. Our grandmothers were willing to shoot and die for our grandfathers, bro. I don't know what happened in the modern day, but back in the day, the black woman was riding for the black man. It was riding hard for the black man, bro. Hard. But like I said, people are a product of their environment. These women in the early 1900s, they were cultivated to have a high level of pride in their culture, their ancestry, their race, their identity. So much so that when the US Marines arrived, bro, the black woman was standing side by side with the black man, ready to die. Now, let's jump into the life story of General Charlemagne Peralte. Charlemagne Peralte was a Haitian nationalist leader who opposed the United States occupation of Haiti in 1915. Leading guerrilla fighters called the Cacos, he posed such a challenge to the US forces in Haiti that the occupying forces had to upgrade their presence in the country. He was eventually killed by American troops. Peralte remains a highly praised hero in Haiti. Take a look up on the screen. As you can see, General Charlemagne Peralte in the white suit with the black hat. Man, first of all, look at the swag. Look at the swag of our forefathers, bro. Back in the early 1900s, bro. Suited and booted. The black man from a century ago had a certain elegance about him. As you can see in the video, Charlemagne Peralte with his legs crossed in the middle. And this is off topic, but we gotta bring back the swag from the late 1800s, early 1900s, man, when the black man was walking around suited and booted. I'll be looking at pictures from the 1890s, the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, and I was like, damn, bro, we was crushing the game, bro. Even while being under attack by all types of foreign adversaries, the black man was out here looking sharp, looking elegant, doing his thing. We got to get back to that, man. But anyways, let's get back into the story. I do want to give the disclaimer that there were multiple military engagements all over Central America, Latin America, the Caribbean, because the US Marines were going all over the place trying to invade territory, occupy territory. So I'm not saying that the Haitians were the only ones to fight against the US Marines. No, I'm not saying that. Even the Dominicans next door had their battles and their skirmishes against the US Marines also. It was a very turbulent time during the time period of World War I. The reasons given for the multiple invasions and military campaigns carried out by the U.S. Marines against several countries in the early 1900s was said to be for the purpose of enforcing democracy and stability, but in reality, it was for the purpose of protecting the interests of U.S. corporations and also to enforce their authority in the region. As World War I began to pop off in 1914, the U.S. government was afraid that the fighting among the European powers would spill over into Central America and the Caribbean, and you already know they had to enforce the Monroe Doctrine. The United States was especially worried that Roosevelt Bobo would seize control of the Haitian government due to his nationalist political platform and anti-American stances, which is why they ended up organizing and rigging the elections of 1915. Now, let's talk about the second leader of the Cacos after Roosevelt Bobo was sent into exile, General Charlemagne Peralte. Charlemagne Peralte's family origins trace back to the Spanish part of the island through his father's side of the family, where they held prominent positions in society. Eventually, his family settled in the city of Hinch, where he was born, which is also the birthplace of Dominican military commander Pedro Santana. Charlemagne Peralte's father was General Remy Peralte, a high-ranking official in the military whose footsteps he would go on to follow. Before becoming military chief of the city of Leogán in his late 20s, Charlemagne Peralte's career began at the age of 16 when he participated in the 1902 Civil War, pledging his allegiance to Antonin Firmin, who unsuccessfully led a revolt against General Pierre Alexis, the grandson of King Henry Christophe. Now hold up, yes, I dropped a video last week entitled, take a look up on the screen, Germany's role in the 1902 Haitian Civil War, the Untold Story. And in that video, we discussed the military engagement between Antonin Firmin and General Pierre Alexis. And we also discussed how the German Navy and the US Navy came together to provide assistance to General Pierre Alexis because they were so scared of Antonin Firmin seizing control of the government. As you already know, Antonin Firmin, big Pan-Africanist, Egyptologist, anthropologist, journalist. He also organized the first Pan-African Conference in 1900, which had W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington in attendance. Bro, big shit popping, little shit stopping. You already know them white boys in Washington were scared shitless at the possibility of Antonin Firmin possibly seizing control of the government. When the US Navy and the German Navy got to collaborate to make sure that somebody does not obtain the seat of government, you already know, big general, big chief, big gangster. Salute to Antonin Firmin. But yeah, Charlemagne Peralte's career began at the age of 16 when he pledged allegiance to Antonin Firmin during the 1902 Civil War. Yeah, he was on the battlefield banging for Antonin Firmin. And when you're done watching this video, go watch my video on the American invasion of Haiti, and then go watch my other two videos, The Untold Story of Antonin Firmin, the Warrior and the Scholar, and Germany's role in the 1902 Haitian Civil War. Classic material. Anyways, let's get back into it. After Antonin Firmin was sent into exile, Charlemagne Peralte went on to hold many prominent positions in society, including becoming a magistrate in both the city of Mirebalais and Hinch, vice consul in the Dominican Republic, military chief of Port-au-Prince, and finally military chief of Leogán by the age of 28. His sister also became First Lady of Haiti in 1914 under the regime of President Horace Zamor. It was during his time as military chief of the city of Leogán when the U.S. Marines invaded. Now, like I told y'all in the video last week, the American invasion of Haiti, Charlemagne Peralte came from a high-level family, elite class family, very powerful family, a lot of money, a lot of land, a lot of power. Listen, it is what it is. Now, let's get back into it. In 1915, Charlemagne Peralte endorsed Roosevelt Bobo, the original leader of the Cacos, as the preferred presidential candidate. Unfortunately, the U.S. government rigged the elections in favor of Philippe Sédar-Tignav, and Roosevelt Bobo was forced to flee the country and die in exile. Under the presidency of Philippe Sédar-Tignav, the Constitution was rewritten by the U.S. government, which finally allowed white men to own land in Haiti, a law that was on the books for over 100 years. This enraged the population. Forced labor, aka slavery, was also put back into effect to carry out infrastructure projects. Now hold up. Yes, for over 100 years until the U.S. occupation and invasion, white men were not allowed to own land in Haiti. I believe the only way they were able to go around that was if they married a Haitian woman and had a child with a Haitian woman, and then maybe their child would be a Haitian citizen. But later on in the late 1800s, Antonin Firmin had rewritten the Constitution once again, and he added that you can only be a Haitian citizen if your father was a Haitian man. If your father was some white man from bumblefuck Europe or from Mississippi or France or Germany, nigga, you ain't a Haitian citizen unless your father is a black Haitian man. Shout out to Antonin Firmin. Because he already seen the white boys were trying to run that game, come into the country, try to marry our women, try to have kids and shit, and then try to start swallowing up land and buying territory. Nah, Antonin Firmin rewrote the Constitution. It was like, fuck out of here, nigga. You're not a Haitian citizen unless your father is a black Haitian man, a son of the soil. If your father is a white man, nigga, you're not Haitian. So if one of our women decided to go run off with the Europeans, guess what? Your child is not a Haitian citizen and is not entitled to anything in the country. And this is also off topic, but that has been a colonial tactic that has been effective for thousands of years against black societies. Foreigners come in, try to marry our women, try to get close to our women, penetrate our bloodlines, penetrate our family lineages. Next thing you know, their kids get into power and overthrow the whole goddamn system. That has been a very effective colonial tactic of white men around the world. They come in and try to reproduce with the local women to gain a foothold in a foreign territory. Antoine Firmin was like, fuck that, nigga. Ain't no citizenship. But the beautiful part about it was, as you already know, Antoine Firmin was a Pan-Africanist. So let's say a Haitian woman would go on to marry a Jamaican man. Guess what? Their kid would be a Haitian because their father is a black man. Let's say one of our women decided to go get married to a black American man from Tennessee. Then due to the fact that your father is a black man, then you would be eligible for Haitian citizenship. But if one of our women decided to go marry a white man from Tennessee, your kid ain't Haitian, baby. Your kid, no citizenship. No citizenship, no land, no property, no nothing. That was a beautiful constitution right there. I forget which constitution it was. I believe it was like 1889 or some shit like that. I forget the exact year. But that was a legendary constitution, man. Legendary shit. Salute to Antoine Firmin. Now, let's get back into it. Now, take a look up on the screen. Charlemagne Peralte was born in 1885. Actually, it was 1886. To seamstress Marie-Claire Emmanuel and General Remy Messana Peralte in Hinche, a small city in the island's interior. Upon earning his education at the prestigious Saint Louis Gonzague in Port-au-Prince, Peralte followed in his paternal family's footsteps and became politically active by holding posts in the Dominican Republic and Haiti. When the United States occupation commenced in 1915, he was serving as the commander of Léogane, a position of influence previously held by 3 presidents, Cinq Sénateurs Lecomte, Horace Zamor, and President Villebon-Sam. So, if the U.S. occupation didn't happen, Charlemagne Peralte would have probably ended up to become president of Haiti. But unfortunately, them white boys invaded the country and shot him in the chest. Anyways, let's continue. At first, Peralte utilized tactful and non-aggressive means to oppose the occupation, as was evident in his communication to the United States Marines and later President Woodrow Wilson, whom he instructed to leave Haiti with God. After serving time in prison on charges drawn up by the U.S. Marines, Peralte was aided by a prison gendarme, Luc Saint-Luc, who was an undercover Kako and helped Peralte escape on the 3rd of September 1918. Yes, there were undercover Kakos that were serving as spies and agents and penetrating the camp of the U.S. Marines, and that was how Charlemagne Peralte was able to secure his escape from captivity. And just like the paragraph said, they arrested him on trumped up charges, on false charges, and in fact, they actually killed his brother. I forget the name of his brother, but both him and his brother were arrested at their home. Their house was pillaged and set on fire, and then they arrested Charlemagne Peralte, sentenced him to 5 years of forced labor, aka slavery, and they killed his brother. So yeah, shout out to the U.S. Marines. You know, thank you for your service and all that shit. Anyways, let's get back into it. While a comprehensive history of the Kakos remains unwritten, their actions are remembered well by those in Haiti. They were active during the Haitian Revolution and reappeared throughout the 20th century whenever the state pursued policies that threatened Haiti's economic or political security. During the U.S. occupation, the Kakos were called the Haitian Revolution. They articulated an agenda to restore the nation's sovereignty, and they used this message to recruit new members, black and mulatto, rich and poor, to physically resist the U.S. Marines. Under Peralte's leadership, the Kakos increased attacks in and around the capital city. They collaborated with sympathizers, and they wrote to leaders in the U.S., Britain, and France to win support to end the occupation. In the end, the U.S. Marines and their Haitian allies were able to infiltrate Peralte's camp, and on the 3rd of October, 1919, they killed him and many other Kakos. The Marines displayed Peralte's body in public to discourage opposition to the occupation. Nevertheless, Haitians continued to resist the occupation until it ended in 1934, and Peralte and his struggle are still remembered to this day. Now, take a look up on the screen. The armed fighters of Haiti, known as the Kakos, are perhaps most famous for their battles with U.S. Marines during the U.S. occupation of their country between 1915 and 1934. Yet their history predates the U.S. intervention. The term Kako, which derives from the name of the feisty red plum bird found on the island, originally referred to the former slaves who joined up against the French during the Haitian Revolution. In the Kakos Revolt of 1867, armed bands from northern Haiti rose in opposition to President Sylvain Salnave. Throughout the 19th century, particularly in the northern region, the Kakos operated as hired armies for local chiefs and elite families, but they also worked nationally. The Kakos embodied Haiti's long-standing racialized tensions and regional and political divide. In the north, a darker-skinned black elite and poor were established, whereas in the south, lighter-skinned mulattoes held power. The Kakos were generally darker and came from humble origins, alternating their time fighting with cultivating small plots of land. Some had only old muskets and were more adept with rocks. Because the Kakos were compensated for fighting by looting and small amounts of cash, elites in the U.S. media often depicted the Kakos as bandits and pillagers, but for the protection they offered, the Kakos often won local mass support. In the Kako uprisings against U.S. intervention in 1915, 1916, 1918, 1919, and 1920, these rebels earned acclaim both locally and abroad as patriots and national heroes. Indeed, the Kakos posed a problem for the U.S. Marines during the U.S. occupation of Haiti. In 1915, the Kakos objected to the presidential candidate, General Villebon-Sam, who had ordered the killing of 167 political prisoners. The murders sparked public outrage, and the Kakos came from the north to Port-au-Prince with Resolvo Bobo to seize power. Now, let's continue. The Marines tried unsuccessfully to disarm the Kakos through arms buyouts. Although they had superior machinery and supplies, the U.S. Marines were handicapped by the Cacos guerrilla tactics, and it took more than a year to defeat them. The Marines blew up the Cacos' 18th century stronghold in the north, Fort-Rivière, in 1916. Despite this loss, in 1918, the Cacos launched a second revolt in the north under the leadership of Charlemagne Peralte and Benoit Bétraville, aimed against U.S. imperialism generally and specifically against the forced unpaid labor known as the Corvée. The Cacos Rebellion had wide public support. The U.S. occupation and the Marines' racism generated broad anti-American sentiment throughout the country. Tough fighting lasted until November 1920, and only with additional troops and the unprecedented use of aircraft did the Marines suppress the Cacos. Yes, indeed, I told y'all about that in the last video, the American invasion of Haiti. The only way they were able to finally defeat the Cacos was they needed to call in reinforcements from Washington and bring in airplanes to shoot niggas from the sky because the Marines was getting smacked up on the field of battle. Now let's continue. The high death toll of the Cacos and Haitians generated worldwide attention and outrage and resulted in a U.S. Senate inquiry. Even with considerable resistance and criticism, the U.S. troops only withdrew from Haiti in August 1934. Now take a look up on the screen. We see Brigadier General Herman Henry Hannikin, Medal of Honor recipient, the assassin, the murderer, the killer of General Charlemagne Peralte, was given the Medal of Honor by the U.S. government. So you see, they murder our heroes, they murder our forefathers, and then they award the assassins. And you mean to tell me these folks are not our enemies? Fuck out my face, man. But anyways, before we get out of here, man, I'm going to read 2 letters written by Charlemagne Peralte, 1 letter written to the people of Haiti, the citizens of Haiti, and another letter written to the French Minister of Foreign Affairs. Let's get into it. Take a look up on the screen. People of Haiti, soon, a day like the 1st of January, 1804, will rise. For 4 years, the American occupation has been insulting us constantly. Each morning, it brings us a new offense. The people are poor, and the occupation still oppresses us with taxes. It spreads fires and forbids us to rebuild wooden houses under the pretext of keeping the city beautiful. Haitians, let's stay firm. Let's follow the Belgian example. If they burn our cities, it doesn't matter. As the inscription on the tomb of the great Dessalines states, at the first cannon shot given the alarm, cities disappear and the nation stands up. The holy battle in the north is led by brave citizens. The south is only waiting for the right man to follow its wonderful example. Don't worry, we have the arms. Let's get rid of these savage people whose beastly character is evident in the person of their president, Wilson, traitor, bandit, troublemaker, and thief. Die for your country. Long live independence. Long live the Union. Long live the just war. Down with the Americans. Now, let's get into the next letter to the French Minister of Foreign Affairs. Take a look up on the screen. From Charles the Great, Messana Peralte, High Commander of the Revolution in Haiti, to the French Minister in Haiti. Honored Minister, despite the principles of international law usually adopted by civilized nations and coming out of the Great War in Europe, the American government got involved in the internal affairs of the small Republic of Haiti and imposed a rule whose approval by the Haitian Parliament was guaranteed, enforced by military occupation. We were ready to accept this rule and follow its obligations despite the threat to our autonomy and the dignity of our free and independent people. But the false promises given by the Yankees when they invaded our land brought in almost 4 years of continuous insults, incredible crimes, killings, thefts, and barbarian acts, the secrets of which are only known to Americans. Today, we lost patience and we reclaim our rights. Rights ignored by the unscrupulous Americans who, by destroying our institutions, deprive the people of Haiti of all its resources and devour our name and our blood. For 4 years, cruel and unjust Yankees brought ruin and hopelessness to our territory. Now, during the peace conferences and before the whole world, the civilized nations took an oath to respect the rights and sovereignty of small nations. We demand the liberation of our territory and all the advantages given to free and independent states by international law. Therefore, please take into consideration that 10 months of fighting has been in pursuit of this aim and that our victories give us the right to ask for your recognition. We are prepared to sacrifice everything to liberate Haiti and establish here the principles affirmed by President Wilson himself, the rights and sovereignty of small nations. Please note, Honored Consul, that American troops following their own laws don't have any right to fight against us. Dear sir, please accept our distinguished salutations, signed by the High Commander of the Revolution, Peralte, followed by 100 other signatures. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Shout out to General Charlemagne Peralte, big dog, big chief, big gangster. And even though he may have died, even though they may have killed him, he sent a lot of white boys to the afterlife as well. So at the end of the day, he didn't transition to the afterlife by himself. A lot of white boys got put in the dirt also. Now, anyways, man, it's your boy Neferkari Dessalines back in the building. Yes, indeed. Like, share, subscribe, Cash App in the description. And I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I
left on a horse and came back in that ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching me blocking my vision. Been for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This shit is an art, and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you in court. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so at least. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.